Hey guys, it's Jim Collier. We are live here on Facebook Live, and it is Tuesday, March 26th. We're almost done with the month of March. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to share something with you that was really on my mind this morning, something that happened to me yesterday. And I wanted to share this with you. I've been listening to Miles Monroe, and he's been talking about preparing for change. And one of the things that I want to kind of talk about is preparing for change. Because you must build a part-time business while working your full-time job. Now I'm looking down because I got notes here, and these are things that I wrote down. But let me just kind of give you my story. I joined the military right out of high school, and I spent 10 years in the military. My last 6 years, I was a Navy recruiter. Probably the best thing that ever happened to me was going to recruiting school because I learned so many valuable skills. Then I left the military after 10 years. I probably stayed a little too long, but I left after 10 years, and I got a great job in corporate America as a corporate recruiter. Now, I've done all different types of things in recruiting. I've done everything from being a trainer, training other recruiters. I've been a military veteran recruiter, recruiting military vets. I have been a diversity recruiter, recruiting women, African Americans, Hispanics, Asians. I've done diversity recruiting. I was also an executive recruiter, recruiting high-level executives. What's going on, Quest? I say that I had a great job because I came out of the military and found myself earning six figures in corporate America, working for some of these great companies, companies that you definitely would know, companies like Microsoft, Google, Deloitte, Wells Fargo, Mozilla, who actually owns Firefox. I even worked for PayPal and consulted for probably 100 different companies that you have actually heard of. And so I had a very, very great career as a corporate recruiter in corporate America. But on August 26th of 2016, I was laid off of my job for the seventh time. That's right, seven. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Been laid off 7 times in my career. And that last job was Solar City. And I got laid off because Solar City got bought out by a company that many of you are familiar with, Tesla. So they got bought out by the electric car company called Tesla. And it wasn't that I'm a bad employee, because when I tell people I got laid off 7 times, they think, it's because I was a recruiter. And in the recruiting industry, they hire up a lot of recruiters. They staff up, and then once we staff up, Pastor Ray, what's going on? Once we staff up, you don't need a recruiter anymore. And so it was this vicious cycle of going through a job, working for, 2, 3 years, and then getting laid off. And that just got kind of old. So here's what happened. I started preparing before the layoff. So I joined Myecon on August 2nd of 2014. Now remember, I got laid off August 26th of 2016. I got involved with Myecon in 2014. That was about 2 years earlier, and I started my exit strategy at that time. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. At that time, I did not see myself as the VP of marketing. I was just a regular associate inside of Myecon. Did not see that at all. But, God has a plan for you, and he directs your footsteps, and you've just got to just take that step and start working towards freedom. And so I got tired of being let go. I was getting older. I'm 48 now, and I started seeing people who was the age of my daughter that I was working with that were, working in the same type of work that I was doing. So they were younger, they were cheaper, all of those types of things. And so, as an older guy, I saw the writing on the wall. It started to become tougher and tougher to pick up those 6-figure gigs like I was before. And so the last thing was I was just plain tired of doing what I was doing. And I know that many of you can probably relate to that, just being tired of doing what you're doing. But what's your plan? See, you can be tired all you want. You can say, man, I want to do something different. But what's your plan? That's the question that I have for you. And so after I got laid off from Solar City, about 1 month later, 3 to 4 weeks later, I got contacted by my colleagues who had now gotten hired at Tesla. And so they called me to say, hey, do you want to come on over? We got a spot for you. And that's how it worked for me. You know, my whole career, I worked for all these great companies because we looked out for one another. And so they asked me if I wanted to come on over at Tesla. And at that time, I had made the decision to do Myecon full time. I was going to do it come hell or high water. I was going to do Myecon. And I told them no. And I told them what I was going to do. And here's the funny thing. They laughed at me. They laughed at me because I was doing one of those things. You know, I was in network marketing, and I was doing a network marketing deal. And here I had spent 15, 20 years in corporate America doing corporate recruiting, making six figures. And I'm about to throw all of that away for a network marketing deal. And they laughed at me. And in fact, this is something that I was told. One of my colleagues said, well, when you run out of money, give me a call and we got a job for you. And, you know, I jumped in his tail about that comment. But that was his comment. When you run out of money, let us know and we'll have a job for you. Well, God be the glory. I never ran out of money. My money actually started increasing. And, you know, things have just been well. They've been great. And so throughout, you know, the last couple of years, because that was back in 2016, it's 2019 now. So we're, you know, looking at 3 years later. I would get phone calls and, you know, they would talk to me about what's going on and, you know, how much they hated and just the challenges. And it was good for me because it helped me remember why I left, because of all the BS and the politics. And I'm telling you, when you work in corporate America, there's good and bad, and there's good and bad with everything, but the politicking, oh my God. And so, you know, they still couldn't believe that I was still doing this network marketing thing. They couldn't believe it. You know, because it's been almost 3 years now that I've been here full time. And it's just been a testimony to, you know, me really being committed to what it is that I'm doing. And I got to tell you, I've never worked this hard. I work very, very hard in Myecon. I work very, very long hours. I work 6 days, sometimes 7 days. I travel. It's the hardest thing that I've ever done, but it's also the most satisfying. Every day that I come in, I work with people who are positive, who are motivated. You know, I get to tell them, great morning, how you're doing. I'm better than amazing, and they're better than amazing as well. No pulling down, no politicking, no nothing like that. And so it's been a blessing. And so, you know, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I get an opportunity to be mentored by, you know, 2 gentlemen, actually 3, that are millionaires. And, you know, the mentoring is real. It is real. And I'm always learning and I'm always changing. And the information that they give me has been priceless. I could not have planned for a better second step in my career. And so it's been great. So let me tell you what happened. and here's the thing that I realized. I realized that it wasn't that they didn't believe in me, but it was a lack in belief of themselves because they saw what I was doing and they couldn't see themselves doing it. They couldn't see themselves taking that leap, stepping off on the ledge. And I don't think I stepped off on the ledge because I prepared while I was working. See, everybody always wants to say a job is just over broke. And I don't look at a job that way. I didn't look at a job that way. I was trying to get squeeze every piece of juice out of that job that I could. I had stock options. I had, my Solar City stock converted into Tesla stock. And I was trying to get everything that I possibly could. If they had not laid me off, I'd still be working there today. I had no plans on leaving, right? I was going to work my full-time job, build my part-time. And so what actually happened is my full-time let me go. But I had something part-time that I had started building, and it was something that sustained me and has sustained me. And it's not only just sustained me, it's sustained my whole household because, my wife doesn't work, right? Well, let me say this, because you can't say that your wife doesn't work. She does not work a corporate job, right? She's at home. She does what she wants to do. This thing has to work for my family because I'm the one that's bringing in the income in the household. And so for a lot of my corporate friends, man, it's been weird for them to see me do this because, for most of them, they say, I've never seen anybody in network marketing have success. And that's because most people don't. The average person in network marketing doesn't have success. There it is. But here's what I realized. I ain't average. And I don't know about you, but you got to say, I'm not going to be average. See, what I realized is that there are some people that create millions of dollars in this industry. And there are some people that create no dollars in this industry. But let me tell you something. When I was a recruiter, there were recruiters, and there are recruiters who make $30,000 a year, and there are recruiters like me who made $150,000, $200,000 a year. So the question was, which one do you want to be? Do you want to be average or do you want to be above average? And so I decided, and I have decided in everything that I do in life, is that I don't worry about what the averages are because I'm not average. Do you get that? And so a lot of people will judge things. They'll judge the opportunities that they get into. They'll judge the careers that they choose based on the averages. I never look at the averages. I always look at the above average. What do the above average people do? And that's a whole nother story because even when I started my recruiting career, I was in a position that if I had stayed in that position, I would have been an average recruiter. And I realized that quickly, and I made adjustments in my career so that I could get to the companies that I mentioned, the Microsofts, the Googles, the Mozillas of the world. I did above average things to get into those above average positions, even in a job. So for those of you that, talk about jobs and stuff, even in a job, there's things that you do. But here's what happened yesterday. Yesterday, I got a message from the guy who said, when you run out of money, give me a call. He just got laid off from Tesla with 150 other recruiters. I need you to let that sink in. He just got laid off again. See, it's not when, it's inevitable in the industry that I was in. As a recruiter, you do not have longevity in your job. As a recruiter, companies hire you for what you bring to the table, and once you staff that company, they don't need you anymore. They'll bring in a whole bunch of you, 150 recruiters. Think about it, that's a lot of recruiters. And what they do is they get you to staff their company, and you bring in all these people and you staff the company up, and once they're properly staffed, why do they need you anymore? So they let you go. And then if they need you again, they'll call you back. I worked for Microsoft twice, and they called me back a third time, and I got mad because they kept laying me off. They kept hiring me and laying me off, hiring me, and they didn't really care about my sustainability. All they wanted is, hey, we need you to come in and do some work. Once you have supplied what we needed, we're going to lay you off. Now, it's business, and I understand that, and that's capitalism. That's capitalism, and that's how it works. And so what I had to do is I had to create my own capitalistic opportunities. And so he got laid off. Now, here's the crazy thing. Yesterday, I was talking to him, and he had to get off the phone. He said he was interviewing with another company, and it was promising. He thinks he's going to get this job. And so I started thinking about it because they called me insane. They said I went insanity. I was insane, right? And you know the definition of insanity. It's doing the same thing, expecting different results. See, I too was in insanity at one point where I get laid off and I go look for another job. Get laid off and go look for another job. Get laid off and go look for another job. That was insanity because I was expecting something different. I was doing the same exact thing, but expecting something different. So listen, I'm not saying that you got to join Myecon. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you need to go join Myecon or even get involved in network marketing. There's some pros and cons to what we do in our business. But here's what I am saying. I am saying that there's one thing for certain. These jobs ain't loyal. They're not loyal, right? These jobs ain't loyal. And so knowing that, what you have to do is you have to start preparing for the season when they let you go. You got to start preparing. Because there's one thing that is solid, that never changes. That's your Lord and Savior. God never changes, right? But here's something else that never changes, and that's change. There's always going to be change. That is always going to happen. And so we put our faith in God because he doesn't change, but we also know that change is inevitable. And if change is inevitable, then what are you doing to prepare yourself for when that job lets you go? What are you doing? Are you going to just sit by and just wait until it happens and then woe is me? Or are you going to take the opportunity right now while you have a job, while you've got cash flow coming into your household, are you going to take that opportunity right now to make a change in your life and start something part-time? Work your 9 to 5, and then from 5 to 9, work your part-time. Start working on your business, whatever that may be. I don't care what it is. It doesn't have to be network marketing. If you decide that you want to start a lawn care business, hey, go for it. Go get you a truck, go get you some lawnmower equipment, do you. If you decide that you want to bake cakes on the side, go bake some cakes. Do whatever you need to do to start building for a secondary income, to start building for your own opportunity. For me, I chose Myecon. It has been the best thing. It's given me leverage. It's given me residual income. Some people laugh at me about leverage. They laugh about residual income. They talk about it as if it isn't real. And I don't even worry about it anymore because it's been real in my life for the last 2.5, 3 years. That's how I feed my family. That's how I take care of my family. So when somebody looks at me and they know what it is that I do and they have a certain feeling about it or a certain idea about it, it doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect me because they never paid one light bill. They never paid one mortgage payment. They never paid any of those things for me. And I don't expect them to pay those things for me. But at the same time, I'm not going to succumb to their beliefs, the way that they feel about what it is that I do. I do an honest day's work for an honest day's pay. I'm a capitalist. I am building and I am leveraging. I am leveraging what network marketing allows me to leverage. And I am not average. So if people are telling you that this doesn't work or most people don't fail, yeah, if they're average, I decided I wasn't going to be average. And so if you're average, you're not going to succeed in anything if you're average. So I decided that I was going to be above average, that I was going to work this thing the best way I possibly could. And I was just going to put my head down and just focus and focus and focus. And lo and behold, I became the VP of marketing. Look at that. Look at God. That's what I'm going to say. Look at God. You know, when you put your heart into something and when you build, God has to honor that. He has to honor that. And, you know, here I am. And so now I'm able to, the same gentleman that says, call me when you run out of money, I'm able to now consult with him, because yesterday he asked me, he says, hey, you know, when I get on my feet, I want to take a look at what you're doing. Right? When I get on my feet, I want to take a look at what you're doing. And I'm okay with that, right? I ain't mad at him because he said, you know, when you run out of money, call us back. He didn't know any better. I found something that works for me. It doesn't work for everybody, but it works for me. And so I just wanted to be transparent this morning and share this with you. Also wanted to share with you my new office, right? So here we have expanded, and we now have 2 buildings. And so I used to be up in the rafters in the old building, and you could see the air ducts above me and all that other good stuff that's going on. But we have expanded our business, and we're growing as a company. We're growing, and so we've expanded into another office. We still got the other office next door, but we've expanded, and I got a chance to get my own office, my desk, my big screen, all of that good stuff. I'm still, you know, getting my pictures and all that stuff up on the wall, but a lot of great things that's going on here in Myecon. So I just want to just share that with you guys this morning. I know it's noontime. Many of you are probably having lunch, but make sure that you prepare for change, because change will happen. Go ahead and prepare for change. So with that being said, man, this is June Collier, VP of Marketing with Myecon. God bless. Take care and have a better than amazing day. Take care, everybody.